Hey everyone, Stephanie here. Today we're going to be making a weekly favorite in my household, blackened fish tacos with a chipotle sauce. Let's get started. First up is our chipotle sauce. It's only 4 ingredients and so easy to make. We have fresh cilantro, lime, chipotle peppers and adobo, and Greek yogurt. So first, put all of your cilantro into the food processor. You actually can use the stems in cilantro because they have the same flavor as the leaves and they're nice and tender. Next, we're going to add some lime juice. What I like to do prior to squeezing my limes is I roll them out, and this kind of helps loosen up the juice in it. I don't know if that's an old wives' tale, but I think it works. So we're gonna slice that. And then I'm going to use a citrus press. And this one's great because it has a lime insert for, smaller citrus. So we're gonna squeeze that in here. I have the worst hand strength. Oh, splash some. And then you're also gonna squeeze the other half of the lime. Actually, lime is huge, so we're actually just gonna use the lemon side of it. And then squeeze the juice in. Okay. Next, we're going to use the chipotle peppers and adobo. So if you're not familiar with them, these have like a nice smoky chipotle sauce around them. They can be a little bit spicy, so what I like to do is start with less, and then you can always add more later. You can't take the heat away once you put it in there. I make this recipe all the time, so I know that I like the sauce very spicy. So I add about 3 to 4 chipotle peppers in. If you like more of a mild sauce, I would start with 1, medium, 2, and then work your way up. And then I'm gonna take about a tablespoon of sauce and put it in there. Like I said, if you want it more spicy, we can add it later. Next, we're going to do the Greek yogurt. You can also substitute sour cream, but I love the lightness that the Greek yogurt gives. It gives it a nice little tang. It complements really well with the lime juice, and it's a little healthier, than sour cream. So we're gonna add that. This is actually an attachment for an immersion blender that kind of doubles as a food processor. So I'm gonna plug this in. It's easy to blend like smaller sauces like this in here because my food processor is rather large. So we're gonna blend this until it's fully incorporated. Party foul. This is actually a good time to take the top off, and then using a silicone spatula or a spoon, there's some bigger leaves stuck at the top. You can push it down and then reblend. Okay. So this is a good time to do a little taste test. Like I said, I make this like once a week, so I know that this is kind of my sweet spot. But if you don't find it spicy enough, go ahead, throw another pepper in there and reblend it. This must be good because my dog just came into the kitchen. So we're going to pour this into a bowl. And if you tasted it and you're like, Stephanie, I think I've made a grave mistake, it's too spicy, I wouldn't necessarily worry about it because once you add the sauce with the tortillas, the fish, the slaw and everything, it kind of mellows out the taste and the spice. So don't fret, you'll be okay. Get a look at that. This is delicious. Honestly, this is such a great condiment for like even just dipping vegetables in. You can spread it on to a sandwich. It has so many like multi-uses. Okay, now that we're done with our sauce, we're gonna set it to the side and work on our slaw. And by work on our slaw, I'm lazy and I got store-bought vegetable slaw already made. If you wanna make your own, you can. You could just get a green cabbage, a purple cabbage, and a carrot, and thinly slice it on a mandolin, and then it'll come out like this. But, if we want a quick meal, Store-bought is fine. So what we're gonna do is we are going to add 2 hefty spoons, probably like a 1/4 cup, to our slaw. And then we're going to toss the slaw with the sauce so it gets lightly coated. You don't want it to be like wet with the slaw, because the vegetable slaw will help kind of cool down the heat with the tacos and everything. So this is just to give it a little bit of flavor. And I'm throwing vegetable slaw everywhere, so as you can see there. And then now we're just gonna place the sauce and our vegetable sauce in the refrigerator while we cook our fish. Okay, now for the star of the show, the fish. So I leave this part for the end because the fish cooks very quickly, so I like to have the slaw and the sauce already prepped. So these are actually yellowtail snapper. This recipe will work with any white flaky fish. You can use basically anything in the snapper family. I've also used this recipe with mahi, with tilapia. If you're gonna do something like grouper or halibut, it's a thicker fish, so it's gonna need more time in the pan. So this was already filleted for me and the skin taken off. When you go to the seafood market, ask them to remove all the bones and pin bones and the skin. So when you get home, you can just season and get ready to cook. For the seasoning, we're gonna be using a blackening seasoning. You can go 1 of 2 ways. You can easily make it at home with paprika, cayenne, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and oregano. Or I'll link in the comments below like one of my favorite pre-made blackening seasonings. So first we're gonna take a little olive oil and drizzle it over the fish. Kind of give it a nice rub in there. This is gonna help the spices adhere to the fish. And then we're gonna sprinkle some of our blackening seasoning over the top. I like to be very liberal when I blacken fish, so I put a lot of seasoning. It kind of gives it like a nice like crust on it, and then I kind of like pat it in to the fish, and then we're gonna do it, repeat it on this side. And now we're gonna go cook it on the stove. Preheat your skillet over medium-high heat for 2 minutes. Drizzle 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan and carefully lay the fish fillets down into the skillet. If your skillet isn't large enough, you can do this in batches. Cook the fish on each side for 2 to 3 minutes. I cover my skillet with a splatter screen to keep oil splatters from getting all over the stovetop. For the video though, I'm going to remove it so you can watch the fish cook. Your best friend in this recipe is going to be a fish spatula. They're longer than a traditional spatula, which helps you turn the fish without it breaking apart. When I turn my fish over in the skillet, I actually use the sides to assist me flipping the fish over so it doesn't break apart. Cook this side of the fish for another 2 minutes. At this point, your fish should be opaque all the way through the middle. Once your fish is fully cooked through, remove it from the heat and turn your stovetop off. Let's meet back at the cutting board to finish the dish off. All right, everyone, we are done blackening our fish. It was quick, it was easy, and now it's time to assemble our tacos. You can either warm these up in a cast iron skillet or you can warm them up in the oven, whichever way you please. I just did some small flour tortillas. I'm gonna use my cool taco holder. So I'm gonna set these 2 here. And then the way I like to assemble these is I put a little bit of the slaw on the bottom. Now I'm gonna take some of the fish. I kind of just, it's easy to cut. I just use a fork. And then I'm gonna slide a few pieces. I mean, look at that inside, it's delicious, white and flaky. We're gonna spoon some of our chipotle sauce over the top. I like to add just a little squeeze of lime. All right, they are ready to be enjoyed now. Look at them, they are glistening. They are ready to be eaten. I'm so excited. I'm sure you can hear the crunch of the slaw. So delicious. You can still taste the seasoning of the fish, and then you have the contrast with the bright, spicy chipotle sauce. I'm telling you, this is gonna be in your weekly rotation because it is that good. Thank you so much for cooking with me today. I'm gonna keep eating these tacos and I'll see you guys next time. Happy cooking.